a tree, standing so free, standing like 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 a tree, with my roots down deep, my branches wide and open. Down comes the rain, down comes the sun, down comes the love to a heart that is open. 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 Standing like a tree, standing so free, standing like a tree, with my roots down deep, my branches wide and open. Down comes the rain, down comes the sun, down comes the love to a heart that is open. To a heart that is open. Heart that is open. To a heart that is open. Heart that is open. To a heart that is open.
There is that within me which knows I am not only one with this power is actually flowing through me now. I am not only unified with the divine presence surrounding me. This presence is my presence. It is the presence of my real and true self. I am forever one with life. So I'd like to just take a moment to let that just sink in as I just speak my word from that place of this one presence, this one life, this one love, this one light that is all that there is. And I know that this life, this one life, is my life now, and it is the life of each and every person in this room and beyond. It is the life of all of creation, flowing perfectly through us at all times, in perfect balance and alignment at all times. No matter the experience, that life is always beyond everything, just waiting for us to just wake up to it and enjoy it and allow it to flow freely, consciously through us. So I know right here and right now, that is what we do. I know we open up to this one life force and just allow ourselves, our consciousness, to rise to a higher level than it's ever risen before. And we use this law of cause and effect on purpose for ourselves and for each and every part of our life, our health, our wealth, our relationships, our careers, our creativity, all of it. It's all one thing, all balanced in this one life, this one perfect law. So I know this for each and every person here, and I give thanks for that. And I simply just allow it to be so. I step out of the way of the house, and I just let it be, releasing this word to law as we say together. And so it is. Thank you. Okay, so now we have a special treat, another special treat. Juven is going to treat us to some special music that was chosen. I'm going to start with this quote from William Shakespeare. He says, "My words fly upward," or one of his characters, "My words fly upward. My thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts cannot heaven go." Very science of mind. Very universal. Excuse me?
Read it again.
Oh, read it again? Of course. "My words fly upward. My thought remains below. Words without thoughts cannot heaven go." So, in other words, we can say the words all we want, but if our thoughts remain below, we can say big words. We can run around shouting, "I am God," or shouting, I'm not hurt, or whatever we want to shout, or "I am whole and complete." But if our thoughts remain below, then the two twain cannot meet, or whatever that saying is. We cannot meet on common ground. So, I am a scientist. We call ourselves religious science, right? So I'm a scientist. We are each scientists, and I consider my life like a laboratory. And what does a scientist do? They have a hypothesis, right? And they go to prove their hypothesis. Now, I don't know that much about science, but my hypothesis is that all is love, yet all is law. So I take that hypothesis into my life, and I'm daily using it whenever I have an experience, trying to understand and make that part of my experience. All is love, yet all is law, meaning that all is God, all is perfect, all is that love, that light, yet all is law. That's the even part. So there's God, but there's also law. So I'm working through my life doing that, trying to prove that. Now, what does a scientist do? A scientist doesn't give up when it doesn't happen the first time. A scientist continues to work in his laboratory until he proves his hypothesis, right? So I think what happens in this science, religious science, and this idea of manifesting and demonstrating, what can happen sometimes is that when it doesn't happen right away, or when we think it should, then we get like very frustrated and we just decide it doesn't work. Well, what we know about the law of cause and effect is that it always works, no matter what. So by not working, by us believing it's not working, it's not working. If that makes sense. This is true. So by the end of this talk today, what we're going to do is we're going to use this law on purpose. That's where we're going with this, okay? So how do we work it? How do we keep doing it even though things like this show up and they won't go away? What do we do? Keep doing it. Keep, what I said last week is I said to myself, not why did this happen to me, but what is the lesson for me to learn? So whatever is occurring in your life that perhaps is not exactly what you would like to be experienced right now, you just go, what is the lesson I learned? And I believe that as soon as a lesson is learned, it goes away. But there's something else, how to use it. It's working through us. And the way that we use it, this is the big key. All right, and I cannot stress this enough. The big key, and this is what Jesus did, is the belief. Not the belief that we're doing it, not the belief that of anything besides that there is a law of cause and effect that works for us, through us, not outside of us, through us, and demonstrates for us according to our belief. If you know the phrase that it's over and over in our textbook, it's in the Bible, it's all over the place, it's said in different ways in different cultures, it is done unto you as you believe. As you believe, and no other way is it. Because this force is not like working outside of us, it's working through us. Does that make sense? All right? So what do? What do? You have to keep doing it. You have to go back to the laboratory and keep doing it. And I'm going to tell you that the more we do it, the easier and easier it gets. And I know one thing about this thing that I'm experiencing, which is getting better every day, because there's a process, there's no process of healing, but there's a process in healing. And that process is as long as it takes our minds to understand the truth and to let go and to allow it to occur. So that's instantaneous for some of us at some times, and in other areas of our life it seems to be more difficult for some reason. I believe, and I'm only doing this because, this is the elephant in the room. I said that on my blog this morning. This is the elephant in the room. I cannot get away from the fact that I got this thing on my arm, right? So am I going to ignore it or am I going to share it with you? I like to share my journey with you because I think that we can all learn from each other's journeys. So what do? I just have to keep going back and knowing the truth about myself. And I believe that one of the reasons this is hanging on so long is because I am so focused on it. And I can't get away from being focused on it very much, for very often. I really feel like I should if I could, I would go up to a mountaintop somewhere and just sit there under a tree and just get myself to where, but I should be able to do that at Foodland. I mean, we preach that, right? So I'm telling myself here. But I believe that one of the reasons is because I'm so focused on it and because it is the elephant in the room and I have to keep saying, and it's not, I know you all care about me and you love me and all that stuff. And so where do we put our focus? Where do we put our attention? That's the key. So we have to keep going back. And every time I look at the condition, I have to go back to the truth, which is that I'm always whole and complete no matter what I'm experiencing. Because that's the only way that healing can take place is if we know that. Because healing, nothing ever has to be fixed. Nothing ever has to be fixed. It just is. It's just our consciousness rising to that level. So to go back to that thing about how long do you do it, think about like when they were trying to invent the light bulb. I guess it was Edison was doing the light bulb, and the Wright brothers and all these people that did these great inventions. They didn't just quit the first time. They kept at it. So, and they believed in their hypothesis to the point that they blocked out anything else. They took their focus and pinpointed it. People that are very successful, that's what they do. They pinpoint and they have laser vision on what it is that they want to accomplish. So I know that about Brian back there, because he's building a house right now, and he's got laser vision on and creating that house, and it's so beautiful to watch him because he's so excited about it. And where I would be pulling out my hair, he's got this beautiful laser vision. So when we have a vision, when we have something we want to accomplish, we have to keep focusing on the outcome, on the result, and not getting distracted by whatever the condition is. So that is my message. So my words fly upward. My thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts cannot to heaven go. So the title of this talk is Abracadabra. So I don't know if you all know what that word really means. It comes from the Aramaic, and it actually means I create as I speak, or I create as the word. And someone, she's not here today, told me that every time we say, so it is, that she says abracadabra, because it basically means the same thing. And so, I guess in ancient times, and now magicians use it, they take their wand, they go abracadabra, and then the magic happens. But they used to put it on amulets, I guess, and they had the word that would ward off sickness. They put it over the door in the Great Plague, and it was abracadabra, I create as I speak. So, but we cannot create as we speak if our thoughts remain below. We have to get them aligned, and we have to believe, and we have to not get discouraged if it doesn't happen at once. And what I believe is that this thing belief is so important, and if we'll just open our heart and our minds to the idea that we can believe, because even thinking we can't believe is a belief. I drop myself every time. It's true though, all right? So we have to tell ourselves that we can believe. We have to tell ourselves that it is possible, that this law does work, and we just have to keep working at it. So what I want to do today to close this talk is to just open ourselves up for a moment, to allow ourselves to know that we are not just one with this presence. This presence is so close to us that it is our very breath. It is who we are. And that there is a power, as Ernest Holmes says, greater than we are, which is this law that we rely on. That is greater than who we are with our small minds. It is all-encompassing, and it is flowing through us and works at our command. That's the principle. It is a law that we use. And so what I know right here and right now about that is that this power, this magnificent, magical, if you want to call it, this power that is everything, that is limitless, is working through us right now. And we can rely on it. And what I know is that whatever is occurring in our lives, that we can turn it around should we want to. We can turn it around to that which we consciously choose. And I know that we can do that right now, and that we can rely on this law of cause and effect, this great law, to fulfill its promise to us, which is yes, yes. So I know that our thoughts are right now aligned with our words, and that as we speak, we do create. And as we speak, meaning as we think, we do create. And I know that we trust this law to work for us right here and right now. So I let that be my prayer. And I align myself with that prayer, and I let that prayer go into the law right here and right now as we say together, Abracadabra. Thank you, everyone.
Abracadabra. Okay, let's get to the real point of all of this. We have this power, we keep talking about it every single week, right? And what we're doing is we're trying to go from hoping to knowing, bottom line. And the reason that things like this, well, this isn't for me, that was first. I had mine previous. The reason that we get to this frustration point is because I know, especially in this philosophy, it makes us to a point, at least for myself, sometimes angry. Ooh, the anger word. It makes you angry sometimes because you know the truth. And when you know the truth, that frustration gets there, and we keep wanting to justify why this is happening when we know how magnificent we are, correct? And sometimes we get down on ourselves, which is the wrong place to go. And I don't even use the word wrong very often. But it's a place that doesn't serve us. So I say abracadabra, alakazam. The power of God is who I am. Thank you. And it's the truth for me. A lot of people get into this idea of I know I don't really like the word truth because, what is truth? And we get all caught up in the words. And I think there is a time that we need to get back to the magic. It is my truth. But there is a universal truth that is everyone's truth, whether or not we like it or not. And that is that we are all connected at all times. And I know, I don't hope anymore, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there will be a time, and it is very soon, that we will take this incredible power that is surging through my body as I speak to you. Yes, it would be wonderful, would it not, to sit there and say, what would you like? Poof! That's really what we're saying, right? The childlike in us is saying, yes, I want it now. I don't want to wait. I don't want to worry anymore. I don't want to feel ill anymore. I don't want to feel these things that are bringing me down. This is good. I have had so much fun this week with this idea of abracadabra, alakazam, the power of God is who I am. I love it. Because that's who we are. And magic gets a bad rap sometimes in the world of science of mind. Because, it's like, okay, another modality and all of these things. But let me tell you something. Once we get done arguing for our limitations, once we get done, we'll truly celebrate. And I like this, I have to grab, because alakazam hasn't done my eyes quite yet. Yes. And I don't apologize at all for it. It has been proved that by thinking correctly and by conscious, that would be conscious, use of the law of mind, we can cause it to do definite things for us, through us. Not out there, not somebody else having to do it for us. Through us, as us. By conscious thinking, we give conscious direction to it. It being it. The all of it. And it consciously or unconsciously responds to our advance along the line of our conscious or unconscious or subjective direction. Blah, blah, blah. Lots of words. Right? But here's the thing that I came up with this week in my laboratory. I was thinking, how am I going to use this power? And I said, what I need is focus. That's why, you ever see Fantasia? I just love it when he's trying to make the broom do his work for him, Any of you can remember that or not, and you were still watching it. He was like going to that broom to try to make it do its work for him. Finally, it takes the pedals and the broom starts to do everything for Mickey, right? So I thought to myself, it's about focusing and it's about directing. That's what I love about wands. I was looking at wands. I had such fun this week. Wands are like, what do you use a wand for? The wand has no power. Did you know that? The power, no. The little stick doesn't have the power. It's the thought behind the power. So when you put it, you direct it, right? And you go abracadabra. So do you see what I'm doing right now? I'm focused. I'm focused on whatever it is that I want to experience in my life. And here's what I got this week. Do you remember last week I told you I did an experiment for 48 hours to create a certain something? And it didn't happen? So I was like, what I learned from this, there's no time in the mind of God. And I gave up. And so I went back to my laboratory, as a good scientist would do, and I said, absolutely, positively not. You have no choice but to show up. No choice. I wrote it in my journal, and guess what happened? It showed up. Guess why? I said, I gratefully accept, blah, blah, blah. I expect, blah, blah, blah. And I collect. Now, focus, direct, accept, expect, collect. It is really that easy. And when it happened, I didn't go, oh my gosh, look at the magic powers of the island came and, did all of this stuff for me. No. That was the power that was with me all the time. Because of who and what we are. As you know, if you've been around me long enough, I get very excited about these things. Because I have one mission and one mission only. And that is, once again, to be an example. There's no point in talking about magic. There's no point in talking about demonstrations unless you're actually demonstrating. And this doesn't mean that I run around going, oh, why didn't I demonstrate that? Something must be wrong with me. I'm not doing the power right. Oh my gosh, I think they're really silly on Sundays now. Blah, 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 blah. But we can stop all that and know exactly who we are. We are that power. That power is exactly who I am at all times. I have nothing to get, nothing to poof, I've already been poofed. Did you know that? I have already been poofed. I am here, the power, it just depends on how much I want to use. So I would like all of you, as closing, to say with me, if you want, my new, what's it called? Incantation?
Yes.
Yes, is that what it's called? Look at us at CSL Kaua'i, turning all magical. Getting all, yeah. But here we go. Now, in case you forgot, it's Abracadabra, Alakazam, the power of God is who I am. So shall we say that together? Abracadabra, Alakazam, the power of God is who I am. How's that feel? On a magical day, my friend. Namaste.
Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am.
And what I know is that there is no beginning and no end. So what are we rushing for? Let's just relax with the knowing that we are prosperous because of who and what we are. And that everything is happening. This is a gift, you are a gift, I am a gift. And this is time of celebration, of gratitude, of coming together to remind each other who we are and how powerful we are. Am I excited or what? This is good. This is good. I love life and I love you, and I am so, so happy and grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for your consciousness. Thank you for this contribution. Thank you for your service. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. And so it is.
And so it is.
Deep inside my heart, I've got this everlasting light shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone, and the more that I hear through us perfectly right now. And I know that we take this spirit, this life, this force out into the world. And we spread this news, this light that we have, and we spread it to all of our friends, all of our community. We just love, love, love. That's what we do. And we spread our light, light, light. And we just raise and vibrate at the highest level ever, bringing all of it into our lives, into our experience. All of it. All of God. Abracadabra. And so it is.
Deep inside my heart, I got this everlasting light shining